Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another one of the TravelMole broadcasts. I should say podcast, but it's actually broadcast. And tonight, I'm delighted to be speaking to a gentleman who is near the George Washington Bridge in New York. And welcome James Ferrara from Inteletravel.
Thank you so much, Graham. Great to be here.
No problem, James. It's interesting times we're in, not just with COVID, politically, all across the planet. Things seem to be up in arms, and one of the results is that travel is not particularly good at the moment. But you've been based here. I think you established yourself probably about 18 months ago. How do you feel that's gone so far here in the UK?
Well, and we do have a bit of a muddle over here at the moment, of course. You know, don't ask me who our president is because I can't quite tell you yet. I think it has gone far beyond my expectation. I can say honestly that the numbers that I had projected for travel sales and for the growth of the number of agents in our network, we surpassed them quite some time ago. And I've been asked, you know, what is the goal? Well, we've passed our goals. We sort of hurdled them. So now it's about what the market wants. It's about how many agents can successfully service clients and make, whether it's a secondary income or a full-time income, and how much travel we can sell, even in this unprecedented year.
Good. I think it's fair to say that amongst the existing agent community, Inteletravel haven't had a universal welcome. Why do you think that is, and does it bother you at all?
We are nice people, good people, but that's not a business issue. The business issue is we are competitors, and I would argue we are fierce competitors. And so there are some agents in the community who fear that. And I think it's a human reaction. It doesn't bother me because I don't think about it a lot. Our customers embrace us and our supplier partners embrace us. And that's really what has to matter to Inteletravel. I think other agents, from a mentoring point of view, I'll say that I think other agents should spend their time more productively. If you have not used this year to better your game and to position yourself to come out of this pandemic marketplace stronger and compete harder, then you may have missed your chance. And certainly if you're spending your time looking over here at what we're doing or worried about what we're doing or sniping about what we're doing, I think you're losing valuable time.
Okay. You speak about the supply chain and suppliers. When we, not you and I, but when we spoke with TravelMole some time ago, you mentioned specific to the UK an ATOL license. That was 18 months ago. You said at the time that that was going to be very, very important to you, and that it would allow your agents to indeed, you know, display the ATOL license on some of their web pages and their signatures. But here we are 18 months later, you don't have the ATOL license. I wonder why that is, and is it still your intention to try and apply and get one?
We have applied, so that part has been taken care of, but it is our intention, our hope, to be granted one, but there is a lot of complexity there, including that ATOL has had other things to attend to, unfortunately, this year. But we are still in the process. I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment on the timing. That's really up to ATOL. But we've had a lot of work to do to meet their requirements from an operational point of view. To be able to issue an ATOL certificate from a small office with a couple of employees is one thing, but we now have close to 11,000 independent contractors in the UK. And you do the math, we have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of customers now. Issuing ATOL certificates is not a simple manual process for us. It requires a tremendous amount of training, the enforcement of compliance, and then the technology to fulfill those certificates in a proper way, including, you know, after the quote has changed, and then an amended certificate needs to be issued, in our case, by the system. So we've had to build those systems, been a good part of our time, and we have to show those systems to ATOL and seek their approval on them. So it's pretty complicated when you get to our level of business.
But it's still your intention to get an ATOL license and comply with all of those various rules and regulations.
Of course, of course. And that's been, Graham, you know, maybe one of the sillier rumors that's gone around the last year and a half is that somehow Inteletravel does not intend to play by the rules. When in fact, from the outset of my interest in the UK, we worked with ABTA and now with ATOL. We work closely with CLIA. I'm on the advisory board for CLIA for years now. We are a professional industry participant, and those compliance issues are very critical to us.
Okay, now we're talking about supply. I think that as far as I'm aware, if you looked at, if you downloaded your supplier, you know, your product portfolio would appear to be somewhat limited at the moment. Is that the intention, is to use the ATOL license to expand that, or do you feel you already have a lot of product? You mentioned Clear, so obviously cruise is a big part of your portfolio.
Well, I think one of the perspectives that we bring, maybe one of the contributions we bring to the UK market is, with our US experience, a real competency in cruise. So I think that we can help grow the cruise market in the UK. But as far as the suppliers, I'm not sure what material you're looking at, but material for our agents that would give the suppliers that we're contracted with would only be available to our agents, but is not limited in any sense. I mean, we gave up counting the number of suppliers quite a long time ago. Our agents have access to a full portfolio of products, everything from, you know, short city breaks to Lapland, which is something, by the way, in the US, we don't really get. But I've had to be schooled on the whole Lapland market and how attractive it is to people in the UK. So we have excellent management in the UK. I mean, Tricia Hanley-Hughes is our director there and a veteran of the UK travel industry. I think universally respected and liked, but also extremely effective. And she has engineered that portfolio. Our agents are set up for success. And we add that to what we bring to the booking platform from our global operation, which is over 2 million hotel properties, which is our own house-built vacation rentals and villas engine, Airbnb-style apartments, activities and entertainment. We, because of the scale that we work at and because of the resources that we have, we've been able to develop the technology and the content that really puts our agents in the UK at a tremendous advantage.
One of the side issues of COVID has been, both here and universally, certainly true of the States, is that domestic tourism has been much more popular than perhaps a year ago. Is it your intention, or is it reality, that you're now selling domestic holidays as well in the UK?
Oh, sure. I think Tricia would tell you that that's where a great deal of the action has been over the summer and through this COVID, was with domestic travel. And, you know, we've had the swinging lockdowns and channels being turned on and shut off in terms of different destinations around the world. The one thing that has held steady through all that is domestic travel. So it's a big part of our mix.
Okay. Now, this may be rumor, but it may be fact. Is there any truth that you are going to start your own tour operation business here in the UK once the Atoll business has been sorted?
That's fact, yes. So it is a phased approach. We have to go back to Atoll once we have those arrangements in place to secure a different kind of Atoll certificate, as you know. So it is not the intention to sell that product right now, and that's not the application that we have in. We've applied as a retailer. But it is a strategy that I've always had, but has been accelerated by this marketplace. It's a way for us to make greater margins, frankly, and that is a pillar to our future, in our plan for future success. We want to control the product. I also, globally, it's a strategy that we are pursuing, and we will sell product as a wholesaler to other agencies as well, not just from agents.
So you're using the economies of scale that you have predominantly so far in the States and passing that on to your agents in other parts of the world, but also potentially acting as a B2B supplier. Is that, do I have that clear?
That's correct. You do have it clear. And then, of course, this marketplace has brought us potential supplier partners with extremely advantageous terms on these product components. So that's what's accelerated the idea, really.
Okay. Now, traditionally, Inteletravel agents have been the images that they deal and trade mainly with friends and family. First of all, is that still the case? And if so, does that really restrict their earnings?
That they deal only with friends and family?
No, the predominantly. I mean, that's one of the, let's start off with friends and family, a little bit like, if you're, in the UK, we call it an Avon lady. They would go around knocking on their neighbours' doors and selling.
It's certainly a phenomenon. It's where some people start. But, the understanding I think you have to have, Graham, in our model is it's not for everyone. So there are going to be people who start and never even manage that, perhaps, or manage only that, friends and family. And it doesn't turn out to be enough for them. That will happen. But then there are others who, skyrocket out of the beginnings of this opportunity. And in their first 30 or 60 or 90 days, they're booking groups and they're developing arm's length customers, a real business. And there's probably every shade of engagement and result in between those two as well. It's the beauty of our model, actually.
Okay. Just to conclude, really, COVID-19, I mentioned at the beginning, it's obviously had, a devastating effect on communities, on travel agents, on tour operators, airlines. Almost anybody to do with the travel industry has been adversely affected. Lots of protests, one in Scotland today. Tourism and travel never really top of the agenda in almost in any developed economy. I know that true of the States. It's never represented at the top table, as it isn't here. Do you think that that tourism and travel, first of all, should be? And secondly, has COVID-19 adversely affected you as much as it appears to have affected everybody else?
It's a great question. First off, I think we always have to remember that there are people who have suffered greatly or are suffering greatly even now during this period. There certainly government assistance is warranted, and the travel industry does get forgotten or sort of put on the bottom of the pile. I know so in the US, and it's interesting to hear something similar from you in the UK. So I believe in that assistance, just like assistance is available to other industries. And you could argue that travel is amongst the most drastically affected of industries during this time. However, there are other roads to recovery besides assistance like that. And I believe that innovation and excellent management and planning and creative thinking and seizing opportunities out of the adversity, that those strategies can get you through this and also position you to come back stronger and faster. And I believe that's what's happened with Inteletravel. Globally, I can say that the company will end this year profitable, and not as profitable as we projected for this year, certainly it's a fraction, but profitable nonetheless. And I think the number of companies in our space that can say that, probably very few. The reason we'll be profitable is the strength of our model, the strength of our business, the way we think, the way we adapt and move and seize opportunities. But in saying that, I'm not gloating, and I'm not forgetting that there are people who need help during this time, and I believe that they should get it.
Well, James, I wish you the very best of luck with your efforts to survive COVID. I hope that the rest of the agent community can do likewise. And we look forward to your ATOL license. We look forward to your extending product portfolio. And we look forward to maybe having another chat like this in maybe 6 to 12 months and seeing how you get on.
Sure, I'd love that, Graham. We have a few other ideas that we're working on during this time. I really believe that when you're taking punches, in between the punches, you look for the openings.
Good. Well, on that boxing analogy, we will end it. And I would say thank you very much. It's not been quite a heavyweight contest, but it's not too far from it. But thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.